Okay, so we have a couple more word problems. The football problem in the last video, that one was a little tricky. I'll give you that. These next two aren't quite as bad. They're more integers and not such crazy numbers, and they're both good problems. But here's kind of the strategy. We read the problem, try to figure out what it's talking about. Now, this is going to require 2 or 3 variables and some thinking about what the setup is going to be. It's all in the setup. Once you get the actual function, then you're just going to find the vertex if you're maximizing or minimizing it, okay? So then you can use the vertex formula. Okay, so take your time with the reading, trying to understand the problem, try to get a picture of what's going on. Sometimes a picture helps. Okay, so here's our first problem. Among all pairs of numbers whose difference is 10. Okay, so we're thinking about 2 numbers, and I'm going to use variables x and y. Say x and y are the 2 numbers. Now, usually I don't start writing anything down until I've read it all at least once. So usually we just read it all once. Okay, among all pairs of numbers could be, 5 and 7 or whatever. But there is a little stipulation here. Difference is 10. Okay, so keep that in mind. Find a pair, so you're finding 2 numbers, whose product. Now, product means multiplication. Multiplication is as small as possible. So we want to find a product that's as small as possible. We're minimizing. We're trying to find a minimum. Okay, so keep that in mind because it says as small as possible. What is the minimum product? Okay, so this is the output. What's the minimum product? All right. So now let's go back and start pulling out the pieces here. We have 2 numbers and we want their difference to be 10. That means x minus y equals 10. Okay, difference meaning subtraction. So maybe I have 13 and 3, or maybe I have 17 and 7. I don't know. So we're going to find, and it could be any real number. It says all pairs of numbers. Okay, so we're finding 2 numbers whose difference is 10. But we want their product, so x times y, to be as small as possible. So this is going to be what we're going to minimize. Our function is going to be something to do with x times y, okay? Now, what we have is a little situation here. We have x and y, and we really only want x. So we're going to solve for y from this equation here. So if I just add the y to the other side, oh, well, now I've solved for x. So let's do that differently. Let's subtract the 10. How's that? We can do that. All right, so now I have an expression for y. So I can write my function in terms of x and say x times x minus 10. So hopefully that makes some sense. I added the y over. That gave me y plus 10. Then I decided, oh, I really want to solve for y, so I subtracted the 10. You could do it in terms of y, but I didn't. All right. And then I have to take x times, and now for y, I'm putting in x minus 10. Okay, I can multiply that out, which we do want to do that. So x squared minus 10x. That is a quadratic function. It's got an a and a b and a c. And you might be saying, what? C. Okay, so a is 1, b is negative 10, and c actually is 0. We don't need c, but just in case you were wondering. All right, and we're trying to find the minimum. So this is a quadratic function. A is 1, so it's a right side up parabola, and we could graph it and stuff like that, but we don't even have to graph it. We're just trying to find the vertex. We're trying to find this point right here. So we're going to say h is equal to the opposite of b over 2a. That comes from the vertex formula. So h is equal to the opposite of negative 10 over 2 times 1, which is going to be 10 over 2, which is, okay, h is 5. So remember that. And now you're going to have to find f of 5. So 5 squared minus 10 times 5. So 25 minus 50. So the output is negative 25. That is the minimum product, negative 25. What were the 2 numbers that gave us the minimum product? Well, x was 5, right? Okay, so 5. The 2 numbers are I don't think they asked for this, but the two numbers are 5. And then how do you find y? Well, you got to go back over here. So 5 minus 10 equals y. Negative 5 equals y. So 5 times negative 5. That gives you the minimum product of negative 25, right? Like if I multiply them, I get negative 25. Their difference is 10. So those are the two numbers, but I think they just want to know the minimum product. Let's see what it says. What is the minimum product? Yeah. So that's the negative 25. But on the side, somebody could say, hey, what two numbers gave you negative 25? And you would say 5 and negative 5. Okay? They have a difference of 10 and they give you the minimum product. All right. So think about that one and we'll do one more.